going on, everybody? I'm Chris with Dark Hour Tech, and welcome back to another video. This is actually an impromptu one that I wasn't actually planning to make, but I wanted to throw together real quick because I think we're definitely getting back into that season that we see with every new graphics card launch, and that's where the supply and the demand create craziness with the prices and the availability of cards for those of us that are building our PCs or upgrading PCs or things like that. Before we get into this though, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell. It definitely helps me out greatly. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys all being here. And feel free to hit me up in the comments with anything that you have as far as experiences and regarding this. But let's kind of get into this. So right now, I'm actually in the process of building a new PC. Well, not even really a new PC, but a PC for putting in my office for streaming to help me manage my streams and take some of the burden of doing all of the streaming, the gameplay, the monitoring of the stream channels and all of that between the two computers for a little bit better quality. And I'm not even using all new parts. I did get a new case that I want to do a review on, and that's an Okanos Aqua 3. So you'll see that review coming out once I get this built. I'm using a 12900K chip that I had from one of my previous systems for it, and got some storage, a motherboard, and a power supply for it. But overall, not a over the top type of system, and something very simple, and actually was just going to get a mid-tier card like a 4070 Super to throw in it. And of course, with 5070 Supers coming out, they're going to be around 549, I believe, in the retail pricing and all that. A few weeks ago, I started kind of shopping around some 4070s because, again, it doesn't have to be the 5000 series. It's only going to be handling and managing the streams. And the pricing on the 4070 Supers was, MSRP. They were, widely available. And even on the eBay market, they were fairly inexpensive. I kind of held off a little bit, which is my own mistake. But today, looking at it as I'm getting closer to wanting to build this, I noticed a drastic difference in pricing across the board and across many different sites. And we're going to take a look at that here because it's again, same thing that we saw with the 3000 series, the 4000 series. Now that the 5000 series is coming out, the 4000 series supply is getting low, and the 5000 series is, just hitting stores or about to hit stores. And we have that kind of dried up period where it's going to be a little tougher to get a card, and it's definitely affecting the prices, which I can understand to a degree, but it's also affecting the prices in some very ridiculous ways. And I think that for most people that are building a PC right now, this is something to be aware of, something that you definitely want to take into account, whether this is definitely the time that you need to build a PC, and whether, if you don't have a graphics card now, whether it's even worth getting one right now. Took a look at Amazon, NewEgg, eBay, things like that. We saw things much like this. This is a Asus 4070 Super, which I think the retail on that's like $599, $549, and the 5070 Super is going to be $549. And this one is not currently available, but buying options that are available out there is you can get it from sellers for $810, $825, $886, $895. That is almost $300 more over the MSRP of what that card was when it was released, and what you can actually buy it at if you go to a Micro Center or something like that. Now, I did check Micro Center, and a few weeks ago, they actually had some stock availability on 4070s. Wasn't ready to pull the trigger yet. They actually had one white card that I was looking at, and then a couple of other cards. They were all MSRP. I looked today. They are completely wiped out of 4070s. They just don't exist there in my local Micro Center. And that kind of pushes you over to the sites like Amazon, NewEgg, and all that. The downfall is that NewEgg and Amazon also do a lot with third-party sales, and that's where you get a lot of this price gouging, or overly charging for what the item is. And that's just one example there. If we take a look at some other ones here, and again, I just searched RTX 4070, and we'll get a variety of different items here, from 4070 Supers, Super TIs, and things like that. And if we take a look down here, here's a 4070 Super. Um, no available at this time, but we can take a look at the options. And this is just a 2-fan Ventus MSI 4070 Super. And if we take a look at the buying options here, $806. Again, about $200 to $250 over the MSRP of what this card was. And then as you go on, it can get worse and worse. Here's a 4070 Ti Super. And I think the 4070 Ti Super was $799 MSRP price. And again, this one is out, but it has other buying options. And these other buying options are $1,400. That is $600 more than what the MSRP was on this card, if I remember correctly. And it's absolutely not worth that kind of upgrade. People really need to be careful right now if they're wanting to build a PC. Now, these are just a couple examples on Amazon, and it's not reserved to just the 4070s. The 4070s are not the only ones that are affected by this. Here's a Gigabyte RTX 4060 Ti Aero, and it's listed at $612.94, and it's only the 8 gig version. MSRP on that was $399 for the 8 gig version, and it's being asked $612 for it. The other options that they have in here, if we take a look at this, 608, 612, 605, 646, 690, 705, $929. $929 is almost 2.5 times what the MSRP is for a 4060 Ti with only 8 gigs of memory on it. And you also see it on the 4090. We have 4090s here selling for over $2,500. Here's a 4090 for $3,300. In the 5000 series, MSRP is $2,000. And you're seeing this gouging going on because of the supply demand that's out there. Here's a 4070 Ti Super, 1400, 4090 for 2750, a 4090 Founders Edition for $3,300. It doesn't end, and it's not only on Amazon. If we come over here to NewEgg and we take a look at the pricing on NewEgg, we're going to see a lot of the same things. Now, there are some here. We have a 4070 Zotac Twin Edge, and this one is $549. That's actually reasonable price. This is actually sold by NewEgg, which explains why the retail price is still the retail price, because NewEgg is not going to do those markups. Where you get those markups is going to be with a third-party seller. So you can find a couple out there if you're going through the actual retailer itself. Here's a 4070 Super, $1,114. And again, there are still a couple out there that you'll be able to find. This one isn't too overly crazy. $597. This is actually out of the clearance section at NewEgg. 47 Evo OC Edition. But if we take a look at the ROG Strix version that they're selling for the RTX 4070, $83. And this is another third-party seller that's selling this through NewEgg. If we go down the list here again, we see 4070 Ti, $1,150. Again, I think that's a $799 card. Here's an RTX 4070 for $1,055. That's a Founders Edition. And then we also have here the 4070 for $771. And this isn't actually just reserved for the new cards being sold by third parties, but also the used cards. If we look at used cards, they're more or less going for MSRP. And here's a good example here on NewEgg, used, very good condition, Asus Dual GeForce RTX 4070, and that's selling for MSRP as a used card from a third party. And as you can see here, we can go down the list and we just see more and more and more of it. Zotac Gaming GeForce 4070 Ti Super, $1,600, which is an absurd price for even a 4070 Ti Super. 4080 Super, I think retail, 4080 Super Ti, I think retail was like $12.99, if I remember correctly, and a 4080 Super was like $9.99, and for a 4070 Ti Super, they're asking $1,608. And again, it's supply and demand. And as much as I said that the used market is being affected by this, by what you see here on Newegg and some used cards or refurbished cards that we saw on Amazon, you can actually head over to eBay. We're going to run a search here, and here is a MSI 4070 Ventus 3-fan card, 379.75, and that's for parts only, meaning that it doesn't work. And if you look at the description below, untested, non-functioning, will not post, unable to test the full functionality of the item, and they cannot guarantee that it will be usable or repairable or anything like that. And weeks ago, and not even a month, but just several weeks ago, when I was pricing out 4070s, new ones were going for right around 400. And now you're finding cards that are 379.75 for a parts only non-functioning card. We can go down the list here and see other examples. There are some sellers on eBay that are actually staying fairly reasonable, $430 here for an RTX 4070. But according to this and its rating, it is working. So that's not horrible, and definitely would be something that's, worth taking a look. But it's set up for bids, it's not set up for buy now, so there's no telling what that price is going to be by the time it actually sells. We have one here for RTX 4070. This is the Gaming X Trio at 550. It does have a buy it now price, so for the 550, but we do see other ones here that are used cards, pre-owned, selling at or right around the MSRP price. I think overall that for right now, for the most part, that eBay seems to be the least affected, but eBay also introduces another concern, and I'm sure that those of you that watch tech videos and things like that have seen a number of videos that have come out showing that there are card scams going on right now, and people are getting scammed by receiving cards that the die has been removed from the card. And that means that people are going in, taking the card apart, taking out the chipset from the back of the PCB, putting everything back together, resealing it up, and selling it as a working item. And that is a scam that you can find several videos on here on YouTube, and I'll link what I can in the description if you want to check those out. But it does raise a concern, and definitely if you go eBay, the biggest thing is making sure that you have the availability to hopefully go locally, and maybe have the availability of testing it before that you actually pay for it, or try to get them to send you a video of it functioning or something like that. Thankfully, eBay does have some buyer protections out there for that. And, hopefully, too many people are not getting hit with that scam, but it is a scam that is going on out there right now. Definitely have to admit that it's one of those times where if you're looking to build a PC or you're planning on building a PC, you really have to be aware of what's going on with the market. We saw this also with the Intel B580. We saw occasions where the B580 was going for twice the MSRP price, and that one actually leveled out fairly quickly. There is still some trouble finding B580s in my local area, but it's not impossible to get it at the MSRP price. We've seen it with the 5090. There's times that we've seen 5090s actually being posted and asking more than double for the cost of the 5090, and it's scalpers. It's when you're talking about the 5000 series cards that are being sold for 2.5 times what their actual MSRP is. It's scalpers that are going out there getting them and then trying to make a profit off of them. And if you don't go out and buy these cards, then at some point it's going to start bringing the price down. So if you're only doing an upgrade and everything as far as the favorite games that you play is working, then just stick on the card that you have now. Wait to do your upgrade until the prices level out, the stock availability levels out, and this craziness actually ends. Hopefully it'll be shorter than what we saw with the 3000 series, which, because of all the conditions going on at the time, shortages in silicon, as well as the pandemic and everything else, drove those prices through the roof astronomically and for an extended period of time. We did not see that it lasted very long with the 4000 series cards, and I'm hoping that the 5000 will be the same, that it will quickly recover. And as Nvidia gets stock available out to the stores and all that, we'll see this drop down fairly quickly. I think we're going to see this get worse before it gets better, because not all the 5000 series cards are out yet. I think when the 9070 and the 9070 XT come out for AMD, we're going to see the same thing with the AMD cards for at least a short period of time. But definitely something to be aware of. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. Are you planning on building a PC or trying to build a PC right now and seeing the same thing that I am in your areas? How is it that you're going about finding things as far as graphics cards go, if you have luck finding something? But definitely would love to hear from you guys and your experiences. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and the notifications, be made aware of any future videos that we do here. And I appreciate you guys all being here, and really hope that you guys just have a safe and wonderful day.